What's up guys, happy Saturday, welcome to the FOMO Factory. Today I would like to go over the altcoin market, the Bitcoin market, to see what can we expect in the coming months and when is it maybe a good time to buy and when is it a good time to not buy, because not buying crypto can make you the most money. It sounds a little ridiculous, but you probably understand once I explain it to you. So welcome to the channel, subscribe if you haven't, turn on your bell notification and like the video if you like the video. If you don't like the video, unlike the video, dislike, whatever you can do with it, press something except the escape button. That sucks. So Bitcoin is like not doing much, right? We are sitting around $27,000, and what I said before, I'm still standing behind that, is that this year, look, this is the pre-halving year, right? So what you usually have, like, if you want to know how to prepare, you first, I think, have to know what you can expect, right? Because then you have something to work towards too. And we all, of course, don't know what to expect. Otherwise, we will all be billionaires. So that would be really easy. But so far, what we can already say about the crypto market, and also about stock market, right, is that a cycle, we have these 4-year cycles, right, so far. And a cycle works in 4 phases, right? And as long as that's still accurate, I'm gonna adjust my, my buying and not buying on that, right? So we had the top of Bitcoin here, end of 2013. We had the top of Bitcoin end of 2017. And we had the top of Bitcoin end of 2021. These are these 4-year cycles. So the cycle is still intact. Maybe someday it will be different. But I am not gonna, bet my money on the fact that, oh, now will probably be different, so I'm gonna do this now. Like, as long as it's intact, don't fight the trend, right? So if we have these 4-year cycles, then we can kind of expect that we will top out somewhere end of 2025. Now, that seems very far away, of course, but so far expected that's the top. The bull market, of course, will happen before that. And how does such a 4-year cycle look actually? Well, it's very simple. I said this many times, but sometimes it's good to just repeat, right? You have a accumulation phase. That's where things go pretty much sideways. In hindsight, of course, if you zoom in, it's always up, down. But that's the accumulation phase. And it's called accumulation phase because, yeah, that's where you accumulate. That's where you step in. That's where you DCA into crypto. That's where you buy at a random asset at like $5, and it might go to 3, it might go to 7, but overall that's the range, give or take. Then you have the uptrend, and in the uptrend is really where you make your money, and that's not necessarily where you sell. You can sell, you can dollar cost out, right? But people choose also to maybe dollar cost in a little bit more, depending on where we are in that phase. Then you have the distribution phase, where it goes pretty much sideways at the top. Now that's where you want to take your profits. And then you have a downwards trend, that's the bear market. And that's where you get out of crypto. And if you don't want to completely be out of the market, you can always leave a little capital in Bitcoin, of course, if you just, don't need it and want the exposure for your retirement money or whatsoever. But you at least get out of the speculative altcoins, right? Because even this bear market so far, while Bitcoin is recovering pretty nicely from 15 to 30K, a lot of altcoins out there, they still over the last couple of months came down like 80%, right? This is the period where it's quite hard, right? Then it starts all over again. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, repeat, right? Now, that's what we had every single time, of course. We had in this bull market right here in 2013-14, we had the accumulation phase, right? DCA. If you bought here, $130. If you bought here, $80. It's a huge difference, right? If you are there and if you zoom in on it, be like, oh, right, twice the difference, right? If you zoom out and you look in hindsight, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Then we had the uptrend, it's where you make your money. Then we had some kind of a distribution phase, and these phases don't last very long, right? That's where you take your profits, and then you have the downtrend where you basically do nothing. Overall, of course, you can leave all your capital in crypto if you really feel like I'm in this for the long term. But like I said, then do that with Bitcoin, because the couple of altcoins that were around right here, they got wrecked pretty hard in the meantime, right? And some of them, well, most of them, especially in the 2017 round, they don't even exist anymore, right? So therefore, it's hard to pick which one is going to survive. You don't know. The best projects can still die. They run out of capital. They have no more runway. There's no more interest. Something happens to the developers. A new platform comes up which is better. Whatever the reason might be. Your favorite altcoin, don't get married because it can always die. My favorite as well, right? Well, and then after the downward trend, you have this accumulation phase. That happens in every cycle so far. Right now, in the current cycle, you want to take a look where we are, right? So first, we had the accumulation phase. And you could say that was this period. You could say that was this period. You could look at it like that. But overall, you can also say it was just, you know, this period, right? And this was the better time. This was also a good time, but higher, like tomato, tomato. Overall, you see the chart, you see what happens, right? The uptrend in 2021, we had that. The distribution phase, yeah, we had some kind of a double top. Well, not really a double top, but almost. Could have taken your profits here, but even here, like you cannot, and you must forget about trying to time the bottom and time the top. Let go of that. You want to get as close as possible, of course, but timing it will wreck you. It won't work. A small percentage manages to do that. And these people are lucky. There is no skill involved in that. It's not possible, right? Now, we had our big downtrend, right? The downtrend is what we have right here. That's clearly over. We are now in a new phase, to put it like that. So the previous phase is done. We are done with that. We are now in an accumulation phase, right? And overall, if you buy Bitcoin at $27,000 or at $15,000, again, like I just showed you on this chart here, if you zoom out, you don't even see it anymore. It was all a good buy, right? But if you put in $1,000 right here, let's say you made $1 million off of it. Nice. Who gives a fuck where you bought? Right? But if you feel like, yeah, okay, but I want to make the most, well, you could have also made 2 million, right? And that's where it comes in, where you want to be a little more picky. Again, you do not want to try to time the bottom, but are you going to buy right here, or are you going to wait until it comes down a little bit more than that, right? That's what you want to do. Now, I would say if you have no position at all in Bitcoin right now, it definitely can't hurt to dollar cost a little bit, right? Have some exposure. You never know when it's going to go up. Like, everybody can speculate and you can throw your best TA at it, but overall the market does not what you want, right? The market doesn't care about you. You should adjust to the market. It's not gonna adjust to you. So I already want to say that, okay? Now, if I look where we are right now in the cycle, like we are now in the pre-halving year, right? And what's the pre-halving year? This is very basic information in this video, basically, right? But some people, they might skip that step, and then it's hard to know what you want to expect and how to adjust your plan to that. So the pre-halving year, the halving is when the rewards for mining Bitcoin are halved, right? So it's getting more scarce, it's harder to mine Bitcoin, and therefore the price always goes up. Now I marked this off. The blue lines on the chart are the Bitcoin halvings, and you'll see that basically so far we had a Bitcoin halving right here, we had a bull market. We had a Bitcoin halving right here, we had a bull market. So far I am not willing to change my thoughts on the fact that we will see a bull market after the halving. Why not? Because so far it's valid, right? Who says this is now not going to be valid anymore? Based on what? Until it's not, it is. That's basically what it is, right? The red lines are a year before the halving. And I've drawn that because it's quite interesting to see what happens a year before the halving, right? So we had this downward trend right here, and a year before the halving, we already started to go up. It's not the parabolic move that came after the halving itself, but we did go up, right? But what happens in this whole area right here? Well, we basically went all the way down to $165, shot all the way up to $320, came all the way back down again to make a double bottom, and overall this whole area right here, it wrecked bulls and it wrecked bears. And you know, when we were here sitting at, let's say, $300 in September 2014, we were sitting at the same level in November 2015. So although these moves were pretty big in the meantime, in hindsight, in a year, nothing happened. We went sideways overall. Basically, that's what we did, right? Now, in this area right here, we did kind of the same thing, but even worse, right? We were sitting at around like, yeah, what was it? Like $6,000, give or take, in October 2018. But look here, in March 2020, right? That's 1.5 years later, we were sitting at the same level. But first, we went from 6K all the way to 3K. Then we went from 3K all the way to 14K, right? So that was like a complete roller coaster. The bears thought, oh shit, it's going down even way more. Bulls are getting wrecked, nice. And then the bulls thought, wow, Bitcoin just did a 4x. How is this not a bull market, right? And then it even comes down all the way again. And at the end of the road, 1.5 years later, we were sitting at that exact same level. That's the harm that you can have right now, because Bitcoin went up 2x right here. So a lot of people will be like, oh, well, bull market is going to start. We are not going to see anything near this low again. It's way too high already. It went up 2x, right? Here it went up 4x, and we even came down. Okay, that could happen. And the difference is, by the way, if we talk a little macro, yes, this was because of the COVID crash that we came down so much. But how did we recover from that? The Fed printed a shitload of money, right? The problem now is that we don't know. We don't know. Like, there's a potential recession coming and the Fed can print their way out of that, but are they going to do, like, when is this pivot coming? Is it coming anytime soon, right? If it's not gonna happen, yeah, then this won't repeat itself like this, right? So, but the overall message is, like, don't cheer too soon. Like, what we've seen right now is like not even twice as good as what we have seen right here. And even here we came down all the way again in a matter of a couple of months, right? From 14K to 4, let's say, right? 14K to 4. Just to give you a little perspective, this is down 70%. Let's say that this top was this top, and we go down another 70%. You know where it takes us? $8,000, $9,000. Right now, I don't think that that will happen though, because we first had a run up of like 330%. We didn't see that, right? If we done that, then Bitcoin would have been like 66K or so, right? We didn't even came close. So, you know, after such a hard run, it's not weird to have such a hard crash. Well, we did definitely not have such a hard run, so I don't think we will have such a hard crash. Doesn't mean we cannot go lower, right? Be prepared for that. Overall, the year before the halving until the actual halving is quite like up, down, up, down, up, down. Overall, nothing really happened right here, right? We like could see a very draining, mentally draining year when it comes to that. Like where we go up, we go sideways, and, you know, overall we are going down a little bit. We're making lower lows and lower highs, but overall, you know, sideways. We can come down again. We can go all the way up again and all the way new low. Well, not so like this, but, you know. And overall, we may end up at the same point at the halving as where we are right now. Right? It can be very boring, and that's the hard part in crypto. Not where things go down that hard, right? There you can at least short or sell and feel good about your selling or whatever. It's these sideways years where it goes up and a little down and a little up again, giving you hope, and blah, all the way down, and the bears be like, yay, and then it goes up and they be like, fuck, and everybody feels fucked. This is a really good example of how to get demonetized on YouTube, by the way. But it's what it is. Right, you can feel very screwed, or at least getting bored out of the market, right? And then let's take a look at what altcoins do, right? Because altcoins is something that people have a lot of hope in. Like, yeah, Bitcoin is boring, doesn't give you good returns. Bro, Bitcoin doesn't give you any good returns. If you invested like around the bottom right here and you took it all the way to the top, you made a 22x on Bitcoin, the safest asset out there, right? If you take this bear market, for example, and you bought it from the top to the bottom, you made a, what was it, 120x. What you mean Bitcoin has no good returns? 120x on Bitcoin. What the fuck? These are good returns, bro. I'm not saying we'll do 120x next cycle, of course, but you know, the lower it goes, the better your entry is, and the less high it has to go for you to make good returns anyway. So, you know, but still, people like altcoins. But the problem is altcoins can really get you wrecked. Right? Because like I said, a lot of altcoins, especially the speculative altcoins, can wreck you a lot. A lot of people like X, again, but it's a very speculative altcoin, right? In the period where Bitcoin, look, Hex had this run-up right here, went all the way down, and therefore it had a very hard run-up, of course, and that run-up peaked in March 2023. Now, if you look, for example, at Bitcoin in March 2023, that was here, right? Bitcoin was sitting at $22,000, right? So from that point until where we are right now, Bitcoin is up 20%. Right? But if you look at the more speculative altcoins, then you'll see that from that point, this is now down 88%. Bitcoin is up 20%, and in the same period, this altcoin is down 88%. So Hex like had its own extra bear market basically, and it's not just Hex, it's Cake, right? Pancake Swap also from March here, March is here. Let's be fair, March down 55%. Right, it sucks. Even and these are altcoins. Well, Cake is not really an altcoin with a huge community, I think. But Hex, for example, good community, strong community, a lot of believers in the project. People like Richard Hart, they believe in him, and that's the power of the project, right? But even with that, it shows like it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit in a bear market. If you have a project with a decent community, nice. But you can still throw $100 in when you think the bear market is over. Look a couple of weeks later and you have $10 left. And you'll be like, what the fuck happened? That's what altcoins do. Therefore, you want to be very careful with altcoins in a bear market and also in a sideways year. Right now, let's take a look at Bitcoin again. Let me get a cleaner chart, by the way, if I have one. Yeah. So let's take a look at Bitcoin again and overlay the altcoin market on this, right? Because this is quite interesting. If you look at this and we go with the total 3, total 34, total 3, new price scale. All right. So let me make it logarithmic so it makes a little more sense. All right. Here we go. Yeah. Right. So as you can see, this is quite interesting because what do you see? Last cycle, for example, Bitcoin topped, altcoins topped out a little later, right? Little later. Bitcoin came down. Altcoin market followed it quite nicely, right? Followed quite nicely. And once it got up, altcoin market got up as well. So it looks like the altcoin market is following Bitcoin exactly. But in effect, it's not. And why is it different, and why is the chart not showing this? Well, the problem is that the total 3, right? Our sweet total 3 right here. Let me remove this now. Includes stable coins, right? It includes stable coins, and that, of course, is keeping the total 3 up a little bit. because stablecoins overall don't come down that much. Their market cap doesn't sink that much, right? Like for example, a Cake or a Hex or a XN or a Moonbeam, or some altcoins that are really doing not so good right now. These projects go down so much, but it's not really reflected in the total 3, of course, right? And it's also because they are not such a high market cap that it, has a lot of effect on the total 3. But yeah, if you look, for example, at USDT, look, this market cap is going up. And this is also included in the total 3, right? So while the total 3 is coming down, this is compensating a lot for it, and this is going up. This dominates almost 8% of the crypto market. 8%. That has a huge impact on the total 3, right? So therefore, what's the point? Therefore, you want to be a little careful when it comes to altcoins. And you really first want to see how Bitcoin plays out. Therefore, the Bitcoin dominance is a really important chart to watch, right? Because the Bitcoin dominance is showing how much money is actually sitting in Bitcoin. How much is Bitcoin dominating the total crypto space? Well, that's now 47%, right? The interesting thing is that the dominance now looks a little different to me. We've been ranging here for 2 months, right? Since May 2021. And every time we get to the top of this range, we get rejected pretty fast, right? We have 1 wick, go down. 1 wick, go down. A full week closure, and after that, directly go down. We're now here since March. It's now June, right? More than 2 months, we are here, right? And now that Bitcoin is coming down a little bit, the dominance is finally coming down a little bit as well. But we went up so high this time that we have room to go down and still bounce up, right? So what does this mean? Well, there are 2 possibilities, in my opinion, for altcoins at the moment. 1, Bitcoin goes up. If Bitcoin goes up, then altcoins overall go up as well. But we have also seen that whenever Bitcoin goes up, the Bitcoin dominance goes up. So if the Bitcoin dominance goes up, it means altcoins will go down on their Bitcoin pair, right? And if they go down on their Bitcoin pair, like again, AVAX, for example, making new lows all the time. Cardano, lower low, lower highs. Arweave, also going down a lot. Moonbeam getting completely wrecked. Like there are a lot of projects. Even Matic, one of the stronger performers, as you see over the last couple of weeks, basically since February, it came down 50% already, right? So it basically means that if the Bitcoin dominance goes up, altcoins go down on their Bitcoin pair, and it doesn't matter that altcoins will go up in dollar value, because at the end of the day, you still will get more reward if you just buy Bitcoin. Plus, you have less risk, right? Because, altcoins are, riskier than Bitcoin. So that's 1. Bitcoin can go up, right? Overall, then it's better to be in Bitcoin. 2, Bitcoin goes down. What does that mean? If Bitcoin goes down, the dominance will likely go down as well. But the dominance has some room to go down though, this time, right? It could bounce here, right? So it has a lot of room to go down. And also, if Bitcoin goes down, so the altcoin market goes down, what will happen if you look at this chart? This is the total 3 again, altcoin market in this falling wedge. We are now at resistance. So we need 1 little downside move from Bitcoin for this to get rejected and completely crash, right? Because if you look at Bitcoin and you'll see the falling wedge that Bitcoin was in since, the same period, Bitcoin broke out in January, retested, got up above its bull market support band right here as well. We are far above this trend line right here. If we have to get in here again, by the time it will happen, we will have a lower low for Bitcoin. Unless it exactly happens this week, by the way. Right? So Bitcoin has a lot of room to go down again, and it will have a lot of support along the way. However, if altcoins now go down, what's there? What support is there? We are below this trend line. We're now at it basically, but it's not really that supportive. We are below the bull market support band. as well. That's the 20 and the 21 moving average. That's a very important level. The only thing that we have right now basically is this horizontal. The only thing. And it's a very strong horizontal. Definitely. It's been functioning as support for over a year right now. Right? So I can't say that it's not very strong. But overall, it is the only level. Right? And if we break that, then altcoins have nowhere a place to hide. And then it is very likely that altcoins will make a new low. Because you have to look at it like this. How much do altcoins have to go down to make a lower low? 18%. How much does Bitcoin have to go down to make a lower low? 42%. So again, it's way more safe and more rewarding to, at the moment, be in Bitcoin. And that's kind of my tactic as well. I will buy some altcoins with dollar here and there, but overall, the big money that you allocate, you do what you want to do, but what I would do is not with altcoins right now. Definitely not. The tactic is way better, it's not hard to make a 30x in the bull market. And it's not necessarily by buying altcoins at their lowest point, wait till they did a 30x and then cash out. Because who says that these altcoins are going to do a 30x? You don't know. A lot of them will, but there are a lot. So you can buy them all, but I don't know if that's the best tactic. The best thing, in my opinion, to do is, buy Bitcoin whenever it dips, when you see a good entry for Bitcoin. Whenever, not if, but when, of course, the Bitcoin dominance breaks out and goes to the upside, right? Then deploy, that will happen as soon as Bitcoin has a big breakout on its dollar pair, right? Because so far it's following the Bitcoin dollar pair. So buy Bitcoin when it's low. Then when Bitcoin breaks up to the upside, you make money on your Bitcoin, the dominance goes up, so these altcoins get wrecked against Bitcoin. Then buy your altcoins at that level. I'm drawing it here, wherever it might be. And then when this is finally going down, which is called an alt season, then you are in altcoins, you had the best entry, and you make money on your altcoins. So that's how you do it. It's not hard to make 100x. You first make a 10x and then take that money and make another 10x with that. That's basically how you can do it. Not a single altcoin that's going to do 100x necessarily, right? That's then you have to, buy very speculative altcoins. Well, it's risky at the first place, but especially at this time of the market, I won't do that if I were you. So that's kind of my tactic right now. And in the meantime, the biggest tactic for me is waiting, just waiting. Like I said, if you look at the Bitcoin market, at the Bitcoin chart, it's that sideways market, This is that sideways market. We can go up a lot. We can go down. We can go sideways. We can have a big crash. We can have a big recovery. Overall, it's pretty much sideways, right? And I don't want to, buy here or buy there or whatever. I will just wait for that big crash, or I'm going to just wait for the, a real breakout. Also fine, right? Then ride that wave. Then when that wave has been written, how do you say that? Rode. Then we buy altcoins with that Bitcoin. And then when altcoins have their ride, we will make extra money on that. That's how I'm going to do it. And that way, you can actually make 100x on crypto. So, a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire with crypto, but I don't have $100,000 to invest right now. Bruh, if you have 10K, overall, you can do it. Definitely. You can make a 300x if you play this very right? Because I'm not even talking about launch pads and all that kind of stuff. There's so many ways, right? There's so many ways to do it. So many ways. I'm not saying it's easy and a 300x is like, oh yeah, that's who doesn't do that? It's hard, and it's not like it's likely, but it's definitely not impossible to do. But you have to be a little patient. So I would say, you don't want to hear this from a YouTuber about crypto, but get a job. Sorry, get a job. Spare your cash buy the real dips. And I'm not talking about if you look at Bitcoin and you look at the daily chart, right, like this, you see this chart, right? You'll see this, and you have a day where it goes like this. People be like, oh, buy the dip. Which dip? Like, buy the dip, man. You know, buy the dip, but don't buy these. Like, that's like, again, yes, you can do that over the long term, but don't throw your money all away with 3, 4, 5% dips. These, like, we will have 30, 40, 50% dips as well. That happens all the time. And we will get a lot of those. We will get a lot of those. It always happens. It won't change. Like, there are always things where the market is more volatile, where there is some bad news going on, where there's, at the end of the day, people don't give up on crypto, and especially not on Bitcoin anyway. Shut up, I'm working. So that's what you want to have. You want to have faith, and therefore you, of course, also want to know where Bitcoin might be going in the next cycle. I will talk about that, I think, in tomorrow's video or so, or the day after. Stay tuned to the channel, because if you know that, then you may have a lot more confidence, you know, buying at certain levels, holding it, not panicking out, would help you a lot, I think. So for now, I want to leave it here, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our Telegram group, by the way, be part of the community. It's down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.